Welcome back to Global War 1939. Just finished off the 9th turn, so let's take a look here. Sorry about the glare. I actually do most of the recordings at night. Today, we're going to have to do it in the daytime. All right, so for Germans, let's see, the Allied invasion into Brodor, the Germans mustered pretty much everything that could reach that region and removed the Allies completely. That battle was pretty lopsided. This is what they currently have in Brodor. So they got Tiger tank, 2 Mark 5s, 4 Mark 4s, and 3 heavy artillery. All their artillery and infantry and mechanized that they brought into the battle got destroyed by the Allies. So in response, Normandy was left vacant. So this was just a walk-on for the Allies. So they resupplied Europe. Not the force they went in on the second attempt is nowhere near as big as the first. So we'll see how this plays out. The British went in with a slew of infantry, a medium tank, and 3 light tanks. The Americans helped supply them with 2 medium tanks and 6 infantry. So we'll see how all that plays out. Outside of that, just another build-up. They did march another step into Turkey. So just one more territory, which is not worth anything, to pretty much end this war. The Turkish army vacated their own country to help cut off access into the Africa. And then the British did send up some units to help out as well, but we'll see. More likely this will fall to the Axis this turn. They did resupply Cairo. They pretty much got all their aircraft in here, so we got a slew of aircraft, 6 fighters, and heavy artillery, heavy tank, and a commando. The British Army is on the move out, so they are in Upper Egypt. More likely they'll take out these 2 territories, which are just walk-ons, and then they're one step away from the Italian production facility in Africa. They did move out their fleet from the Mediterranean as the Italian fleet was in range to engage in a battle. So knowing that the British would lose that, they vacated back out and take opportunities to take pot shots when they can. And they did survive with the Turkish fleet of a destroyer and coastal battleship. So this is the stack that's currently in Lower Egypt. So quite a bit of firepower, quite a bit of strength in that. So we'll see how it goes. The Italians did engage with the British and Americans that landed in Morocco a few turns ago. They've been slowly making their way east, and the Italians engaged them in this territory here. The Italians obviously won that battle, and they currently have this is a cavalry, a light tank, 4 medium tanks, 7 artillery, 2 heavy artillery, 5 of their elite infantry, and 9 regular infantry. They also got paratrooper, and then they also brought down, they did have a transport here, so they brought down 2 units to do 2 walk-ins against the American and British. So the Italians reclaimed these 2 territories. They were German for quite some time, but now the Italians will benefit from that income. Outside that, the Germans didn't really do anything else, just another maneuver outside of this one big battle, and then they're trying to resupply the units that they lost in Brodor and try to bolster up that. So the bulk of their buy was infantry. They focused a lot on replacing that. They also did purchase a few more sea vessels. So slowly building up their navy, because eventually, just looking at the state of U.S. and Britain, um, income wise, Britain will run out of supplies before the Americans. So basically, the Americans can drop 20 units here every turn. The British can't max out their production because they just don't have the income to drop 20 units at a time. Um, so we'll see how all this plays out. Canada, instead of opting for a transport, they did purchase an extra infantry and artillery to go along with their armor and an infantry. So the British will pretty much have 4 transports focusing on bringing units back and forth to Canada, and the rest will go with Great Britain itself. The British do have 12 transports, probably more than what they need. So they'll take 4, just go back and forth to Canada, and then the rest will service the United Kingdom. As for the Russians, they did do another build-up. So they're certainly not scary compared to what they were in the beginning of the game, but they are slowly getting stronger compared to the Germans out here that just have infantry. So more likely what will happen, they'll probably have to, this production facility will have to be jumped up to a major and just start building up another army to counter the Russians. We'll see how much time they have. They could move out this turn, which in that case, it would put a lot of pressure, force some of these units down here to go back up north, these units here to go this way instead of towards France. So we will see. For FEC, they did, or the Japanese did attack them in Burma, closing off the Burma Road now. Certainly a big battle. Once I broke it all down and to see what each side has, the Japanese were a lot stronger than I initially thought. So they won this battle quite handily, losing all their infantry and support like artillery and stuff. Basically, all they have left now is 1 paratrooper and 6 veteran infantry. They still got their armor, cavalry, heavy artillery. The Japanese Air Force was a major assist in whittling down the FEC troops. So they pretty much don't have a lot left. They still got quite a few infantry, 8 infantry, a couple of armor, but certainly not the power that they had. So we'll see how this plays out. Japan right now is just 2 turns away from Calcutta. The Japanese, also the Chinese mustered up the bulk of their force here, and they had a couple of infantry, 3 or 4, 8 infantry down this region. The Japanese had a smaller force compared to the Chinese, because everything that they could went into Burma. So they attacked the smaller Chinese force, and then China counterattacked, eliminating the Japanese threat. Basically, all that Japan has now is just a scattered infantry holding the lines and an artillery and a mech. But the Japanese did attack Russia finally, taking out this territory worth 2, and they have a slew of transports now purchased and ready to help out in the assist of securing the far east of Russia. They'll probably take 1 transport, take out these 2 territories, and then service some infantry and artillery from their home island and start taking off some of this territory. But the Anzacs, Australians did have a transport and a man here. They went off and liberated the Philippines. So the Axis did lose a victory city here, but that's not going to be held for very long. They only got 1 infantry, and the Japanese do have 5 transports. So their overall plan is to assist in Russia, recapture the Philippines, and then swing up and take out Hawaii Islands. That's their task for the rest of the game. And then, of course, we do need to start cleaning up some of these islands. Japan did recapture Sumatra, Borneo, which with just a walk-on. So now they just need to recapture these 3 territories and Philippines, which they can do. They did bring down their Armado, a couple cruisers, a couple transports to help out in the Battle of Burma, but Australia, they attacked them in Sea Zone 70, eliminating the Japanese fleet there. So again, the Japanese fleet has no presence down in the south, allowing Australians to maneuver around freely without worry. So the Japanese will have to respond to this. They still have all their battleships damaged. So they were here in Sea Zone 120, which they could have spent 2 turns to get back down to Caroline Islands to repair, or get back to their home island to repair. But I think and then sail back to where they're needed, more likely to get back to their main fleet. But the quickest route was to capture this island, which is held by the United States. So they'll take 1 transport and sail across, capturing the naval and air base to repair their battleships. Going this route will be 1 turn faster. And then they'll probably split this battleship group up, send a couple down to fight off the Australians, and send some more in the main Japanese carrier fleet, which now consists of 6 cruisers, 2 destroyers, and 3 carriers. Two cruisers are not required here, so 1 will probably sail down and join them, and they'll send over their Armados, sending their 2 normal battleships to fight off Australia. More likely. The Americans are now being convoyed for $15. The remainder, after the Battle of Hawaii, the remainder of the American fleet, which was 3 destroyers and a battleship, got attacked by the Japanese. Excluding the battleships didn't take part in this battle. It was just this, and the Americans were able to remove a couple of Japanese destroyers, but the Americans lost their entire fleet. So they have 0 presence now in the Atlantic, which is a huge problem, because now the Japanese are just parked in Sea Zone 133. The Americans can still purchase ships, that's fine, but then the Sea Zone becomes hostile right away. So, like, they can't just put down 1 cruiser, 1 destroyer, because they would just get destroyed very quickly. They need to put down enough force to remove all the Japanese fleet. So I'm not sure how they're going to handle this. Is either over time, just drop 10 destroyers, they get destroyed, whittle these guys down, and just continuously do that, or build up an air force and engage them via the air before they start dropping ships. Either way, no matter what, this is going to be extremely expensive for the Americans to remove this, especially when the Japanese can just purchase 10 destroyers, sail them over to supplement their losses. So we will see. Australia is doing quite well with their Navy. They just purchased 3 new cruisers. That was from the current buy that they had, and they saved money from the term prior to be able to purchase 3 cruisers. Normally they've just been buying 1 or 2 destroyers. So definitely kicked up a notch. Take advantage of the money that they were collecting from these islands to help them out. Right now, Australia is one of the more expensive, or the more richest Commonwealth countries because of these islands. India is being convoyed as well, so they're losing quite a bit of money. They lost 4 territories, so economically they're not doing very well compared to what they were in the beginning of the game. And down here, the and Argentinians did move out against Brazil. The Brazilians only had one infantry, so they landed, walked in with one infantry, used their transport to bring up two more, and their battleship, easily winning this battle against one infantry. In response, the Americans and the British did bring down some units to help fight this off. So at this point, I think this is going to be an Allied victory overall. The Argentinians only do have 4 infantry. Their fleet did get destroyed by the British, which was essentially the Portuguese fleet that got spawned in. The Portuguese army is now destroyed by the Spanish. Um, and up in Scandinavia, they're just holding. They just got all their infantry. They moved out via their transports, all their support units. Any artillery that they had up there, basically just leaving infantry for defense behind. All right, and just to give you an idea of what's in all these markers, this is Paris. So they just got armor and a mech. This is Reims. So quite a number of infantry, some armor to help out. This is Brodeur, just armor, heavy artillery. This is Berlin, a few more armor, couple SS mechs and artillery. And this is in Western Germany, more infantry, and of course their entire air force. All right, and once the Germans did capture France, they quickly removed or destroyed the facilities that were in France, knowing that the Americans and the British would eventually land, and the Americans do rely on that port to chalk back and forth between the U.S. and Europe. So they could get from U.S. to Europe in one turn because of their facilities. However, getting back takes 2 turns because coming back they're going to move 2 spaces. So they're going to have to set up a 3-way transport bridge. So basically, at any given time, you'll have a stack of transports in the U.S., stack at the edge of Europe, and then a stack in the middle. That's the only way to really rectify this, unless you hold a territory for a full round, meaning you have to go in, attack, win that battle. The Germans counterattack. You also have to win that battle before you're able to lay down production facilities to eliminate this 3-stack transport fleet. All right. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and have yourself a great day.